My car is having a problem with the blower fan and motor on the inside. It's slowing down and making noise. AC is not working. It's super hot here, so I'm over in Orlando. We're gonna go pick up the part. It's about $50, and I will show you the part number in a second for Model X. It's not the same as 3 and Y. Okay, we're at Tesla. I got the part, and they were asking, they had to give special approval. What I did to get the part, just so you know what you'll have to do, is go into the Tesla app, create an appointment, choose other, and then say you need the part. It even helps if you have the part number, so otherwise they'll give you a diagnosis fee of like $170 or something like that. And I said I didn't need it. This was $50. That's it. And they had to run it through. They had to do a bunch of workarounds because it is a service appointment. I asked if I get a loaner car with this. What do you think? I don't think I get a loaner car. But here is the part number, as you can see. All right, HVAC blower assembly. What it has is it has 3 screws, 1, 2, and then there's 3, and then it has 1 electrical connection right there. And you basically have to just get it off by pinching in on both sides. It's locked in, so you can't short circuit it. And then putting it back in is easy. I'll show you how to get it out of the dash. You don't even need to take the glove box out or the top part of trim. You just take a bottom part trim off and you drop down a cover that's on top of this thing. And that's basically it. It's gonna be one of the screws I think is hard to get to because it's against the firewall, but it's very simple. You don't even have to replace the cabin air filter, but make sure you do replace the cabin air filter every couple of years. But if you have the bioweapons defense system that we have, that giant HEPA filter, that's a pre-filter, so actually the cabin air filter does not get clogged very much at all if you have that. Just replace them both at the same time. Here's how you tell if something's wrong. Here's my symptom. It's on 10, it's on auto, and it's not blowing 10 air out. It's blowing maybe, then you say like a 2 airflow, although I can feel the air is cold. There's hardly any flow at all. That's usually what happens, is it slows down and then stops eventually, and sometimes makes bearing noises too. Here's what I was talking about. Underneath the dash, the glove box here on the passenger side, obviously, there is a piece of trim right here, and this trim has to come off, and it'll show you access to where you can pull down the cover, which covers, you can see the motor and fan, which kind of fit up in that area. So there are just clips here that hold this. You have to pull them out. Oh, actually, what is that? I said just fell out. But you see, it comes out. You have to be, I need 2 hands, but you got to pull the whole thing away. And it continues on its way out. That's it. That gives you access to pull this cover down. That covers the fan. Interestingly enough, this looks like it was the hinge. You see that? That the glove box pivots on. I don't know how that fell out, but just put it back in. What I just did was I gave this a nice tug down. I pulled down firmly but gently and quickly, and it pulled that pin out. You see where it was set up in there in the metal, and that gives us access to the motor. This whole thing drops down. It's got insulation. Actually, it's got one on that side too, and then we can replace. All right, got my light on. You can see the unit up there. You can see the electrical connection on the right, and it's got 3 screws, bolts. There's one of them right there. It's gonna drop them down, change it out. It shouldn't be long at all. We're almost done. Before we drop down the screws, let's take that electrical connection off. You have to pinch it on both sides. It's one of these connectors. Try to get the camera on. You gotta get hands on both sides. Squeeze and pull while you're squeezing. I can't do it while I have the camera in my hand, but you get the idea. Actually, this electrical connection is the opposite of what I thought. What I had to do is take a flat screwdriver, pry it up, and when I do, it comes off, you see? And I think there's probably one like this on the other side. That may be very hard to reach. Maybe once I get one side off, the other I can kind of finesse it and get it off. In looking at this part from Tesla more closely, this looks like this whole plug, the white part, also has to come out. Maybe that's just a cover, and then we pull the white out. All right, you see what I'm saying? All right, as it turns out, this is the most difficult part, is taking this electrical connection off. Apparently, this has nothing to do with anything. There is a tab on the back, on the firewall side, where you can't see it, you have to push it in. I tried a regular pair of pliers. I don't want to damage this. I think maybe needle nose pliers is what you need to push in the center, and then it releases and you slide it out. I'm going to try that with needle nose pliers. I realized I need some specialty tools for this, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to buy. All right, so make sure you have fresh number 2s. You're going to need these for the screws, especially the one in the back against the firewall. All right, so this is what you need to see how it turns the corner, but this holder is very big at the top. I don't know if there's enough clearance just because the holder's so big. So ideally a smaller one of these. So here's something that's actually, this is less money. The other thing was $15, and it's very small, and it has smaller bits actually to get in tighter areas. That's what we need, because that one against the firewall is in such a tight area. It needs to angle, and we need to get a number 2 on there. This is called a precision screwdriver set. All right, needle nose I don't think is gonna work because it all has this narrow angle at the bottom, and I need to push from the sides. So they have the C-clamp pliers, swivel C-clamp, where I can get it around the electrical thing and push in. It'll give it force and hopefully push down a millimeter or 2 on that little tab, and it'll slide out. I hope that's gonna work. Actually, this set might be better because these connectors right here, these are even smaller to fit in and push down on that tab, whereas these connectors are bigger. The only question is this opening wide enough to fit around? Hopefully it does, and it's $7.49 for a whole set. I get 2 extra tools. All right, so using this flexible arm, I was able to get this out. You see, it's only a number 1 I think they give me, but it worked. It's very tight, and you don't want anything wider than this. Trust me, it would not work. I can't believe I even got this one out in the back. Make sure that whatever you replace it with, that this top of the screw, that the head is not messed up, because once you strip that out, it's gonna be nearly impossible to get it off. Turns out they did have a number 2 bit. It was just inside of this one, so just make sure you use number 2 so you don't strip that screw out like I was mentioning. Then with the pliers, you can see I was squeezing with this, but there's not much to squeeze on, and the pliers, it's kind of flat on the sides. So I'm hoping that this C-clamp will do the job. All right, so with the pliers, you can see when I was squeezing, there's not much here on the sides. It's flat, it's kind of flat, it can't push in. But these C-clamps, I'm hoping will push in on that electrical connection and allow me to, that 1 to 2 millimeters flex and pull it out. All right, it was a little difficult, a little finesse, but I got it out, as you can see. It popped out, and here you can see that's what has to be pushed on the backside that you can't normally get your eyes on when you're looking at it from the non-firewall side. Another view of that connector so you can see the mechanics of how it works, but you cannot get your eyes on. There. All right, I've got all 3 screws out, got the electrical connection off. And just pull the old fan out. Looks like it's gonna take a little finesse to get it out. Looks just like the new one. A little dirty, not as white. And then we'll replace it with the one that we have. For the new fan or for the existing one, you can see it's molded. The whole frame it goes into is molded to the exact shape of the fan. You can't put it in the wrong way, which is cool. So be very careful putting these screws back, especially the one against the firewall. And the last step, once you've gotten these 3 in, make sure they're snug but not too tight. Then electrical. There we go. Then test it out, put everything back. Definitely more air. I can hear it in the blowing against the phone. It's working.